Good morning, 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, October 20th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So we have a very urgent update this morning. Please, if you are watching this update, please make sure to hit the like button. Yesterday's update got about 1,200 views, did not even get 100 likes. It was quite embarrassing. We, for the first time, and I don't even know how long, didn't hit 100 likes on an update with over 1,200 views. That means like 8% of the people hit the like button. It definitely hampered us in the analytics. And it kind of, it's hard because I put in a lot of effort for this. But when so many people decide not to hit the like button, we literally do not push through the algorithm. That video could have hit 2,000 to 3,000 people with how many people watched it. But unfortunately, we did not have anybody hit the like button. 88 people out of over 1,200 people hit the like button. So I'm going to have to once again start to focus in the beginning of my updates about making sure my audience hits the like button. If you respect the work I do, if you respect the fact that I come here on weekends and I've not missed a day since March of 2021, you will not be able to not hit that like button. So please, I encourage you, hit that like button. I wouldn't spend so much time in the beginning. I haven't in a while. But only getting 88 likes and over 1,200 views is quite embarrassing, honestly. Must not have hit the mark on the update. The only thing I can say about today's update is I'm thinking about the short prospects here. We've come under a key resistance. So there is a possibility that I am going to be putting in a short. I have my long position in spot, so that position's not being sold. But with the way the market is looking right now, it's looking more and more like this short needs to be put in. And we've come down below a key support structure at 54.12. So now we got a rejection earlier this morning. And now, honestly, if I'm looking at this, the way I'm perceiving this is I would have a short on if I decide to take this route. And it would not be taken off unless it came back above 55.30 area. So that would have to be a healthy run back up. It would have to invalidate this short-term thesis of the downward spiral. And that's about a 26% risk from here. So if it's a $200 trade, that's about a $50 risk. That's about a $50 risk on a 10x trade if you're going that route. There are no guarantees because of the way the market setup is. So, I mean, everything's dangerous, but we have death crosses going all the way from the 2-hourly. We know the daily time frame death cross, we got a rejection this weekend at the 200 at 55.28. And now we can see a very clear and concise breakdown here that looks like it's starting. If that bear flag plays out, we have a technical drop down. In totality, down to 40.49 cents. But we do have several stopgap measures where one is 49.345. And we talked about this whole weekend, this rising channel. If this rising channel gives way, it's very bearish. And that could be an opportunity to go short. And like I said, if it comes back above the 200-day here in the daily time frame, obviously, then that would be reversing the narrative. So I'm looking at a stop loss somewhere probably around 55, if I'm being honest, 55.40 if I was in this. I would give it a healthy amount of time to work. And the $60 to $70 risk doesn't mean too much to me. If it loses $60, it loses $60. But the top side potential on a death cross like this, if this were to pan out, I mean, you're talking about maximum capacity. Here's like a 25% drop. So you're talking about a pretty healthy drop down. If it goes in totality down that 24% roughly. There are a few stopgap measures, like 41.5 cents is the perfect spot coming down. We've got 49.5 cents. We've got, well, the first area is about 5% at 51. Then you could say about 8.75% at the 2018 resistance as support. But right now, unless this invalidates this thesis, everything is speaking bearish. We can try to facade ourselves, but over the whole weekend we've talked about this. We had a small opportunity. It did not pan out. It invalidated that small opportunity. And now with invalidation comes, you have to pay very close attention to what's happening. Because if this does break down here, I can give you a very concise number because we got a rejection right here. And the technical target out of this rising channel, the initial target after a breakdown, and we'll go from where it's at right now, that's another 4.65%. Would I be surprised? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the way I'm looking at this is this just start some short positions here. And then if it goes above 55.40, then it would obviously stop it out. But I think it's a fair point here where you have the death cross in such high time frames where you could actually start to look at this as a favorable play now. And the weekend didn't do us any favors. Last night it came down to 53.63, 53.59, and it doesn't look like we're just ready to get rid of this. Bitcoin, I know a lot of people are calling for bullish tug, but I've talked about the fact that my target was up at 68,199 or 68,200. And as long as, if we wanted to hold this, you'd have to hold 68,190 area. We've come down from 69,000, and it looks like to me, are we going to hold this area with Bitcoin? As much as I would like to say yes, it looks like we're coming down in a bearish tug here. This is exactly what I expected to happen as far as coming up to the 68K for the U.S. government because they were getting ready to sell more Bitcoin. So, I mean, I talked last week. Would it make more sense for it to break down to 62 first, or would it make more sense to come up to 68 first? We all agreed that 68 made more sense. In the 4 hourly, we've got a reversal candle here. So, I mean, it's going to be dicey. Even if you go short, it's going to be dicey. You're going to have to take your lumps, and you might lose $60 or $70 if you're doing a couple $100 10x trade. But in all areas that we're seeing right now, this death cross in the daily, the fact that the underneath support levels are right around 49.5 cents. We've got that 51 cent initial tug on a breakdown. The fact that we were unable to even hold the rising channel or the cup and handle resistance. I mean, it seems to suggest that we've got a downward tug coming. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that first target's 51.3 cents, and it looks like we're starting that tug right now. Daily time frame is very easy to see that we have a death cross that was rejected, and it looks like it wants to finish this tug. Thinly traded weekend on Sunday, a lot of times on Sunday before the market opens on Monday morning. With the futures market late Sunday night, we oftentimes have this downward consolidation if it's bearish. And like, it's tough because I think that it's not a bad play to go short. It's just a very interesting play because of where the market is. So that's how I'm looking at it. 55.40 stop loss up over the top if you're going short, and you take it from there. Right now we're down about 1%. We were down a little bit more earlier. We've come back just a tiny bit, nothing major. But in the 30, I mean, we're not looking great here. We've got a lot of room to drop still, too. That's the problem. That 51.1 cents seems to be that first logical stopgap measure. And it's because we've fallen out of this rising channel. Like, that is very bearish to be outside this rising channel to the downside. So, you know, you got to make an educated and informed decision. Does it mean that it's going to pan out? Absolutely not. Does it mean that you might lose money? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the way the market's looking right now, it's not looking great this morning. Like, if I'm just being honest, the market isn't looking that great this morning. Now it's 53.72. I mean, it looks like it wants to fall out here a little bit. 1 minute is getting... I mean, we're looking like we want to fall out here. So be very cautious. If you're going short, be cautiously optimistic, as we've talked this morning. You know, you've got to be able to put a stop loss in the appropriate spot if you're going to even consider going short. You got to have a, you know, a decent area where you're looking at. So that's just where I'm looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. So make an educated and informed decision. Make a decision where you want. Be cautious on the exchanges as well. I've noticed a little bit of when the market's starting to dive a little bit, I've noticed a little uncertainty in the actual pricing, which is to be expected. I mean, trading the markets like this now, I've come to expect the fact that they're going to be a little off when you're trying to buy stuff. They're going to be a little off when you're trying to put in a position. They're going to give you a little bit different pricing, and that's the biggest problem I've run into on the leverage side of things. If I'm being honest, when there's high times of volatility, the exchange are kind of, you know, they give you a price that's not necessarily there, and then you end up down a couple percent, but you just got to work with it. It's the same thing when you do a spot position. When the rally's running high and the spot position seems to be the way to go, a lot of times you'll get a little uncertainty in the pricing. That's just something we've got to deal with the exchanges. If you want to deal with less of that, look in the video description below and our pinned comments. You've got BITUNIX is my favorite. It's very transparent with the price. It's available worldwide for XRP to trade, in the USA as well. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees, and you don't need a VPN or a KYC if you're going this route. So pay very close attention to using an exchange that you're not going to get ripped off over the top. I also use BLOFIN if you want to copy trade. There's been some ups and downs there, but nothing major. You just got to be on top of the exchanges. I've noticed a little volatility on all exchanges today. So if you're making a trade, remember, when there's high times of volatility, you're not going to exactly get the prices you're looking for, but you've got to work around it. So you've got that. And then you can also use HOTCOIN if you're looking at the XRP Bitcoin pairing. You want to copy or leverage trade, or leverage or spot trade. And then if you don't want to use a KYC or VPN, that's also an option. And take advantage of it now while we're in these low times. Take advantage of it while these markets are volatile. Because it's going to be very volatile. You're going to have these unbelievable swings, as we always do. But if we look at it logically, in the daily, we've got a death cross that was rejected, which means that it's very bearish right now. And every time frame, it doesn't look great. We're starting to tug down now. 4-hourly's got a lot of room it can give back. 3-hourly's got a lot of room it can give back. It's just we're going to have to see some kind of reversal today if we don't want to experience this. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this update. If we get a lot of back and forth, maybe I'll do a live tonight. I'm not sure. I'll be at my dad's at about 1 o'clock. So I don't really have a lot of time today. And, you know, support comes with support given. So please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube does recommend this update and we can maximize the exposure.